So to start, the Unit 2 exam will include all of these little topics here. So if you read through these, you can see everything that's on there. So now I'm going to quickly go through each of the problems from the review. I'm going to try and be as thorough as possible. All right. So first off, in number 1, when you look at the vertex of this, okay, the vertex, you should know, is always going to be the opposite of H, comma, K. So now, when you look, if this is H, K, think it's going to be the opposite, so it's going to be -3, 2. Okay, so this here will be your vertex, -3, +2. Now, right away, when you look at the axis of symmetry, you'll notice right away it is just going to be x equals h, which is x equals -3. Now, to graph this, I can use the steps 1a, 3a, 5a. This will never change. And in this case, a is -2. So what you guys have to see is this is -2. So a is -2. So 1a would be -2, 3a would be -6, 5a would be -10. So right away I'll go over 1, down 2. Over 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right now, then I can duplicate it on the other side. Boom and boom. Now, this would be my graph. There's two things. You still have to find the intercepts, right? So if I look for my intercepts here, from that, I could see right away this graph cross. Here is an x-intercept. Here is an x-intercept. All right. So when you look at this, the one x-intercept would be at -4, 0. Another one would be at -2, 0. Okay. Now to find them algebraically, you got to remember to find the x-intercept, you let y equals 0. So you have -2 times x plus 3 all squared. And then what is it? Plus 2. That's equal to 0, and you can solve for x. I can subtract 2, so I'd get -2 times x plus 3 all squared equals -2. I can divide by -2, so x plus 3 all squared is equal to 1. And now, take the square root of both sides. X plus 3 is equal to, you have to remember there's going to be a positive and negative. Square root of 1 is 1. And now when I subtract 3 from both sides, x equals -3 plus 1. That'll give you one answer, but then you also have -3 minus 1. So your first x-intercept here would be at -2, 0. The second one would be at -4, 0. That's how you would find it algebraically. So you can use a graph in the calculator, graph it by hand to find them, or just do that. To find the y-intercept, you got to remember, we let x equal 0. So y equals -2 times 0 plus 3 all squared plus 2. Put this in the calculator exactly the way you see it, and you'll get y equals -16. So right away, your y-intercept is 0, -16. Okay? Next, right, for the second problem here. In this case, the x-intercepts are the easiest thing to find real quick. So the x-intercepts, when we let y equal 0, x plus 2 times x minus 6, kick y out, replace it with 0. All I'm basically doing is finding the value of x that makes each of these quantities equal 0. So x plus 2 equals 0, and x minus 6 equals 0. So x equals -2, x equals 6. So One x-intercept is negative 2, 0. Another x-intercept is 6, 0. Now, I told everybody that the easiest way to find the vertex now, right, when you go to find the vertex, is to use the average of the x's. A lot of kids want to FOIL this out and then complete the square, which is 100% fine. I don't care how you find it at this point, as long as you know how to get it. But the easy way when it's in factored form or intercept form is to average the two x-intercepts. Negative 2 plus 6, all divided by 2, is 4 over 2, which is 2. So the x-coordinate of your vertex is 2, but we still have to find the y-coordinate by plugging it in. So y equals 2 plus 2 times 2 minus 6. So 4 times negative 4 gives you negative 16. So the y-coordinate of your vertex would be negative 16. Okay, so that to me is the easiest way. If you get it, go ahead and use it. If you don't, just go FOIL it out, complete the square, and find the vertex. Our x-axis symmetry right away, x equals the x-coordinate of the vertex, which is 2. Do not forget it's an equation. And then my x-intercepts, we already said was at, what were they, negative 2, 0, and 6, 0. Negative 2, 0, remember these are ordered pairs, 6, 0. And to find the y-intercept, right, we're going to let x equal 0. So y equals 0 plus 2 times 0 minus 6. So 0 plus 2 is 2. 0 minus 6 is negative 6, which gives me negative 12. So 0, negative 12 is your y-intercept. All right. Those are important for the exam, so make sure you know how to do them. Now the next one, vertex form. Remember, this is the a times x minus h all squared plus k. Intercept form, also known as factored form, is x minus some e times x, or x plus, it doesn't matter, or x plus some f. Okay? So vertex form, in order to do this, you have to complete the square. So I grouped the first two terms, x squared minus 6x. I'm going to add some number, and I'm going to come out and subtract that same number. So I take half of b and square it, which gives me 9. If I add 9 inside, I'm going to subtract 9 on the outside. Now I'm going to write this as a perfect square. So how do I write that? X minus 3 all squared. Then on the outside, k, 8 minus 9 is minus 1. So it's y equals. That is your vertex form. To put it in factored form, right, I have x squared minus 6x plus 8. I'm going to go ahead and factor it. So I need to find the numbers that multiply to give you 8, add up to give you negative 6. What numbers multiply to give you 8 and add up to negative 6? That would be minus 4 minus 2. So y equals x minus 2 times x minus 4. Doesn't matter the order. You could have x minus 4 and x minus 2. That would be your factored form. Number 4, vertex form. Not a perfect square, or actually it could be a perfect square, right? But I know what we're used to, so I'm not going to confuse anybody. So I pull out the 2. I divide each of these by 2. I get x squared plus 4x plus some number. Then I have minus some number. So what am I going to add to the end here? Well, half of 4 squared will give me 2 squared, which is 4. But when I subtract, 2 times 4 is 8. So I have to subtract 8 also. So this becomes 2 times x plus 2 all squared. And then 8 minus 8 is 0, so I am good here. Okay? Now intercept form, right? If I go to factor this, right, I should technically start with the GCF because every term is divisible by 2. So I get this. Now what numbers multiply to give me 4? Add up to 4. And that is 2 times x, x plus 2, x plus 2. And that would be your intercept form. 2 times x plus 2 times x plus 2. Does this happen often? No. All right, but can it? Yes. Okay. Number 5, determine if they're perfect squares. If it is not a perfect square, find the perfect square that's closest, meaning we're completing the square. So I take half of being squared, does not give me 9, so I know I have to complete the square. X squared minus 8x plus some number. That's going to complete the square there. And then whatever I add, I have to subtract. So negative 8 divided by 2 squared is going to give me negative 4 squared, which is plus 16. I have to come out here, subtract 16. And now I end up with x minus 4. Remember, that's just half of b, all squared. And then 9 minus 16 is minus 7. Okay. Next one. Not a perfect square because the 13 kills it. So I'm going to factor the 3 out of these two terms. 3 times divide by 3. I get x squared plus 6x. Now I have to add something inside here. Then I have to come out and subtract it. So in this case, what am I adding inside? That's the key. Well, I'm going to take half of 6. So 6 divided by 2, all squared, gives me 3 squared, which is 9. Well, what did I add in here? 3 times 9 is 27. That's what I have to subtract on the outside. So I get 3 times this, in factored form, is x plus 3, all squared. And then negative 13 minus 27 is minus 40. And that would be your vertex form. Okay, it says draw a diagram in the shape of a rectangle to help write each quadratic expression in factored form. If you understand how to draw, good. If not, you can go ahead and know the factoring patterns. So here, we need to find the numbers that multiply to give me 18, add up to 9. So 6 times 3, 6 plus 3 works. So we say it's x plus 6, x plus 3. Done. There's no number in front of x squared. So what multiplies to give me negative 36 adds up to negative 5, right? Well, negative 9 times 4, negative 9 plus 4, there we go. So it factors x minus 9, x plus 4. Okay, down below here, we're going to create the x. This side we have to multiply to get 2x squared. This side has to multiply to get 3. So multiplies to get 2x squared. 2x and x. What multiplies to give you 3? 3 and 1. I check my cross products. 3 times x gives me 3x. 2x times 1 gives me 2x. Do these add up to that middle term, 5x? Yes. Therefore, this factors out to be 2x plus 3 times x plus 1. And the last one here, again, create my x, multiply this side to get 3x squared, so 3x and x. Multiply to get 8, we'll say 2 and 4. If I look, 3x times 4 is 12x. 2 times x is 2x. That adds up to 14. Uh-oh.